Hello, first graders. Today we are going to finish our Grant Wood inspired landscapes and focus on the element of art, space. Remember that space in art is making it look like you can walk right into the picture. So today I'm going to teach you a trick that artists use in order to make it look like their picture goes farther and farther back and you could walk straight through and keep going. So we created 3 layers of meadows for our farms last week. You have a front, middle, and back. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's finished, and we'll talk about this magic trick that artists use. So here is the picture that I made with Monday's class, and I decided to add to my farm some sheep. Now we talked about you only get to choose one thing for your farm. It can be a plant or animal, and you're going to focus on what shape that thing would be. So for example, a sheep isn't quite an oval because it has these bumpy lines here, and someone described it as a cloud. So if you're doing sheep, you can think about creating a cloud shape, and most sheep are white, so that's why I chose the color white. Now, here is the trick that artists use. In the front of their picture, they make shapes really, really big. You can see that my cloud shapes are really, really big. In the middle of their picture, they make shapes a medium size. This looks just a little bit smaller in the middle of my picture than it does at the front, so that it looks like we're going back farther and farther, and we could walk through this field of sheep and just keep going. The very, very back of my picture has teeny tiny sheep. You'll notice that you can barely even tell that those are cloud shapes because they are so little. As you go back into your picture, things have to get smaller and smaller. So I'm going to show you how to do that with a different farm thing. Okay, here we go. This is what yours looks like. You have your background, and now we're going to paint. I'm going to make pumpkins today, so I'm going to use orange and maybe a little bit of green paint. I'll see. The shape that a pumpkin is probably close to like a oval. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my ballerina tippy toes and only put paint on the very tippy toes of my brush. Then very carefully, I'm going to create the outline of my shape. My pumpkin is kind of an oval, but it's got like a little dip in the top. So there we go. There's my first pumpkin shape. Now I'm going to fill it in. After I have the outside shape, I can just take my brush and with long brush strokes, color in my pumpkin. Remember, you do not want to give your brush a bad hair day, so be very careful that you're not going back and forth like this and getting a bad ballerina hair day. That would be so sad. All right, I'm gonna do my next really big pumpkin. I guess I'll do it here. I put paint on my brush. Whoopsie, it's getting really close to that metal part. I better be careful. And I'm going to make a big pumpkin shape, just like that. Then I'm going to paint it in, fill it in, and do a third big pumpkin shape. Oops, do you see that my paint is getting very scratchy? Who knows what to do if your paintbrush starts to get scratchy? If you said add more paint, then you are correct. You should add a little bit more paint to your paintbrush if it starts to get scratchy on your paper. Okay, I have my 3 big pumpkins in the front of my picture. Now I'm going to put pumpkins in the middle meadow of my picture. This size should be medium. I bet you already knew that. I'm going to make my pumpkins just a little bit smaller than the ones in the front of my picture to help create the element of art and make it look like you could walk right through this pumpkin farm. Remember, I'm making the outside shape and then filling it in. Since my pumpkins are smaller, I can actually add more pumpkins here too. All right, I'm ready for the background. These pumpkins I'm gonna make teeny tiny like they are on the farthest hillside of this pumpkin farm. I might not even be able to make the pumpkin shape completely. Yesterday I made carrots and I just did little bitty dots like this. My little carrots were so far back. Maybe I'll put some pumpkins that are so tiny too. Just remember that artists use this special trick of making things really big in the front and really teeny tiny in the back to make the element of art space. Okay, I am all done making my orange pumpkins. If you made something that has two colors, like maybe a carrot that's orange on the bottom and green on the top, then you can go back and get a second color. However, if you made something like a pig that's all pink, then I want you to stop. Don't worry about adding details because we're going to get some Sharpies out and add better details with the Sharpie because it's kind of hard to make little details with a paintbrush. If you do need a second color, you're going to get a brand new paintbrush or go to the table with the green and use a paintbrush that's already there. And you can add a second color. I'm going to make these like viney things on my pumpkins in the front. I don't think you'd be able to see them on the pumpkins in the very, very back, so I'm not going to put them there. They're way too far to see all the little details. In the middle, I'm just going to add a little bit of green to make the illusion of a vine, but I'm not going to add too much. Okay, that's all I'm going to do here. Now, your paint is still wet. If you look closely, you can see where your paint is wet, so we need to let it dry for a little bit. I want you to leave your picture at your table, and you can go and get a white piece of paper and have a little bit of art party time. The first thing you should do with your white paper is add your artist signature somewhere on the page so that we can get it back to you. Then you can go around and use all your extra paint to create more beautiful pictures. Orange. I'm gonna just make an all orange picture. Maybe I'll paint a sun. Maybe I'll paint a pumpkin again. Maybe I'll paint, an orange tabby cat. That could be cute. I'm going to fill my page up, taking my time to make something really cool during my art party time that I can be proud of and be creative with. You get one paper for your art party. When that's done, make sure your name is on it. You can put this on the dry rack too. All right, Miss Cami, you can pause the video and we'll come back for step 2 in just a little bit.